Code, another episode. It's been a while, and we're back in 2026 now with how to contribute to Keycloak with all the latest features. Yeah, it's going to be an interesting episode. As usual, we will take about an hour. And my partner today, partner in crime on this, is Sebastian. Welcome to Sebastian to the show.
Hi, welcome.
Yeah, so we now and then meet, usually around Keycloak, and it's great to have you here again on the call. I hear that you're doing Keycloak DevDay soonish, early March, together with Nico, and you're already fully sold out, I hear, which is great.
Yeah, pretty amazing, and yeah, looking forward to meet all the nice people from the Keycloak community again. And it doesn't feel like a year or even half a year, so I'm really looking forward to the event.
Yeah. Yeah, let's then dive right into that. So what we will do, we will have a short introduction, and you prepared, I hear, some slides in the demo. We will start with that. And it is great to have a lot of people in the call. I see that now about 12 people are on the call live. So while you're on the call, please let us know where you're from, where you're joining here. We will be taking questions in the chat. So just to make sure that you know where the chat is, I pasted in here. Here is the chat. Please ask your questions. And just as we're curious, maybe also let us know where you're listening to the stream. Are you a developer? Are you a Java developer? Are you a front-end developer? Where are you using Keycloak? All that helps us to understand who's watching that stream, that we get the right content and the right answers to your questions later. So yeah, please put your questions in the chat. Yeah, and then I would say the stage is yours, Sebastian.
Thank you. So I will, show the prepared slides, and we will, welcome everybody again. So I want to talk about contributing to Keycloak, and the reason for this is basically I assume that contributions from the community help. So I want to try to do things to foster contributions to make them easier. And as Alex already mentioned, we and that's Nico and me invented this event called Keycloak DevDay, which is happening for the third time in March. And it's basically a meeting for everyone that wants to be part of this Keycloak community and join us live in Darmstadt. Unfortunately, the event is already sold out, so you can't grab a ticket today, but maybe for the next event that will hopefully take place in 2027. This year, for the first time, we want to do it on 2 days instead of 1 day, and that has been in the previous events like 2024 and 2025. We had these things like a hackathon the day before, or some unconference open space that was somehow arranged around that 1 day conference. And this year we want to have it explicit and really have a full day just for the community and for these open formats like an unconference or open space. So on the second day, we basically want to start with this opening and planning session. And that means everyone that will join us on this second day, please bring your topics. And that's basically a call to action today. So if you are on site in March, please, maybe you want to prepare a topic that you want to ask for, like, please, can somebody talk about a Keycloak topic you like to hear something about, or you can just say, oh, I have this idea I want to share with the community, and please bring it to this second day. maybe you have this this thought, I don't just want to talk. I really want to do something. And we really had an awesome hackathon last year with a lot of issues worked on, and people that never contributed to Keycloak before came there, and it was really, really nice and really fun. So we want to have both things and basically have a second great day driven by your topics and by the community. So there will be these sessions if you want to discuss a topic, and there will be, in parallel, there will be this hackathon for everything you came up with that is related to code. Like you want to talk about an issue you found, or you see that this is open right now, and you really want to work on something. So there will be people that will be around and support this hackathon. And to have this hackathon work, you can even set up a Keycloak on your laptop and prepare something. And to show how this works, I prepared some demo. And this is useful even if you not attend the Dev Day, but you can use it also for just getting into contribution, like the meetup says. Maybe you have plans for 2026, like, okay, there's this thing that always bothered you in Keycloak, or you find it while working with Keycloak. And this setup should provide the basic steps so you will be able to contribute. And maybe some clarification. So it's not probably not possible if you don't have some of the mentioned skills here. So Keycloak is written in Java, so it's really, really helpful if you know Java and have a programming background there, if you want to program or influence the backend. There's also big parts that are written in JavaScript. So there are front ends that are part of Keycloak. So this would also be helpful. And in general, it's really helpful if you have some knowledge about Keycloak, maybe because you know it from doing administrative work, or you are a developer integrating Keycloak, and delegate authentication, maybe delegate authorization there. So instead of writing things yourself, it might be great to have your developer skills also contributing to Keycloak. So let's see what I prepared. As last year, I will send the link to the repo. There's some script prepared to follow, and we will do this now live. What you need to contribute to Keycloak is basically a GitHub account, because Keycloak code lives on GitHub. And you need to set up your local workspace, or maybe some fancy cloud IDE or whatever, to actually change code and provide a pull request. But we will come to that. So the one-time preparation that is also in the talk of last year, we will create, or you should create, a GitHub account. You might want to add your SSH keys to interact with Git, but it's also possible to do that from an IDE. I personally like it. And once you created a fork, you can also prepare your local machine or the environment. You need to configure Git. You need to install Java 21. PNPM and Node are helpful if you are doing front-end development, but it's also integrated in the Maven build of Keycloak, and you would add the SSH keys locally to work with Git. Once this general setup is done, so I need this shortcut here. Will enter my much too long passphrase and start with a new clone. So my already existing fork in my GitHub account will be downloaded and checked out, which will take some time. And there is, from time to time, once you have a local copy, you need to do maintenance, and that means that you need to keep up with the changes from the central GitHub repo of Keycloak. And as you probably see on GitHub, it's really active and there are changes all the time. So I will stick to the version that my current fork is pointing to, but it's very up to date. So I think yesterday evening. And once this is done, we are basically in that new local clone of the Keycloak fork. We need to build Keycloak and using Maven. And there are all kind of flags and details in the guides and documentation on Keycloak. So if you would run just a Maven clean install, maybe you are used to this from other Maven projects, this will take really, really long time. So for the first build, we skip these tests, and it's now also in the current documentation. Unfortunately, there's still a problem, but we will come to that later. And during the preparation, I also see that there's an error in the build log, but I wanted to follow the preparation, and we'll get to that probably afterwards. If it comes to building, there's a lot more details, as you can imagine. So it's a Maven build. It's really a huge project, so you can do all kind of things to alter that build, and there is a lot of documentation in the Keycloak repo. And just for fun, I try to use generative AI agent to basically search everything that can be found there, which really is a lot. So something you don't need to bother right now, but just to have it mentioned, there's really a lot of things in the details of the Maven build of Keycloak. So, and once this is finished, this should take around 2 minutes. And if you use one of these flags, you can probably reduce the build time. I think the fastest I managed to get was maybe 1 minute and 15 seconds. But for now, we stick to this this command with just skipping tests. So let's wait. And you see that things happen if you would follow the log, like the documentation is built, the distribution of Keycloak based on Quarkus is built, really, and the front-end parts are built, so downloading npm packages and everything in the one beautiful Maven build. Maybe also the screen share is influencing the performance. Got that from time to time. Here we have the documentation. Yeah, so as I said, I assume that it's the screen share, so it's around 3 minutes. And once we've done that, we could run from our build distribution that we just created. We could, as the documentation says, maybe run Quarkus just from the command line. Unfortunately, there's an issue, so I directly jump into the IDE. And what we want to achieve is really a working IDE, like everything is working. So I use the new project wizard using the from existing source. before that, I copy the existing launch configurations that I prepared to the new created or checked out project. And then we will open the new clone. So use the path because maybe it's not there already. So we will So not sure what is the problem. Oh, that one is. So now we have it. I don't know, maybe IntelliJ just needed to see what's on the file system. So we choose this import wizard and we use Maven because Keycloak is a Maven build. And just click create. So it's opening up in a new window. And what we need to make sure that IntelliJ is really seeing everything that is required and that everything is well integrated in the IDE. So this is unfortunately the wrong repo. So once again, for new existing sources. So hopefully this is it. Yes. So that looks like Keycloak, and it's yeah, still working on the Maven integration, but that already looks good. Like finding every Maven module, and yeah, we're waiting basically until this is finished. There's an hint from the documentation that is really necessary to mention still. So this Maven build is required because there are several classes generated, and the documentation also says, please do not use rebuild from IntelliJ. Just use build to not yeah, delete those class files, and it might be that you end up having compile issues. But I had that for a long time. So we're still waiting until everything is set up in the IDE. And once this is done, we want to start the launchers that are prepared, and it's basically using the Keycloak, or a way to start Keycloak from the JUnit 5 Keycloak project. And in this launch config, you can basically use everything you know from the startup or when starting Keycloak. I just want to yeah, transport the context. So I have a new terminal and I need everything in here. And what we want to achieve is we want to have Keycloak running and basically open it in our browser. And to open this guide in the IDE, I can just copy and open it from here. So we have only one IDE. As said, we want to see Keycloak running, and what we can do now is basically start this launcher. You can also look into the details. So it's having some of these parameters set, from configuring the starting Keycloak. For convenience, I create this admin account because I use this a lot. So I choose the launcher, and we will just hit start, and will take some time. And for now, it really has this issue from time to time. So I don't know if we need to run the build command again, but we will see this in a minute. So the UI will not work on the first try. We just need to build again. And I didn't find a way to avoid this yet. Maybe someone has. So it's actually starting after building. And for now, I don't use any persistence. It's just the H2, so dev mem, and no persistence between runs. And as you see, unfortunately, the console is broken. So what we need is to build again.
Just chiming in, Sebastian, here. So
just make sure that we are. I'm sorry?
Yeah, did you start the UI? I think the
I'm sorry, Alex. Could you repeat that?
Yeah, sorry, we kind of dropped from the session. I was wondering if the problem was when the UI was not running in development mode, or let's see.
Yeah, I think that would be a different mode to work with the UI locally, as far as I understand. But for now, I just want to use it as it is inside the Keycloak build, and no extra dev mode for the UI. I think this is a pretty useful feature. I will not cover today, but if you are interested in UI development, there are things that can be done. Yes. And I think right now there are some CSS things missing, and maybe other things. So somehow the UI build did not work. And as far as someone mentioned, I think that there's somehow some copy job that is not working on the first run. But I prepared also a repo where everything is working. So if it's not working for the second time, I will switch there. So in the last test runs, it works. It worked after the second one.
Okay.
Curious how long this run will take.
It always takes longer when you're on video.
Yeah, I remember that I had a different setup last year, so the laptop was not the streaming one, so maybe I should get this one back. This is helpful. So it's even 30 seconds faster. Well, so let's see. So we run again the launch config that is using this JUnit 5 Keycloak starter. And hopefully we will see a beautiful login page. Yeah, that looks nice. So everything worked this time. So I'm probably using the credentials. I did not mention yet, so I'm on the new installed operating system. Finally chose Fedora, and everything is just set up 2 days ago. So yeah, so login works, and also the build works, and yeah, where do we want to go from here? We have also, this is recognized by the IDE integration. So maybe this Quarkus experience is worth looking into it. I personally worked with Quarkus in some smaller projects, and I don't know, maybe the idea would be how Keycloak would have been built if Quarkus would have been there from the beginning. It's all a theory, of course. I don't know. Maybe this will evolve. So this is not working right now. Yeah, maybe one thing you want to do is debugging, and for debugging we would need some breakpoint, and I think this appliance bootstrap would be something we would pass. So we can just hit the debug task from the IDE with the same launch config, and should run into this breakpoint. And as probably the most people that are used to work with Java or the JVM, there's really awesome tooling around debugging and working with the JVM. And it basically means whenever you have a Keycloak process and the underlying JVM would be in this, or have this debugging flags set, then you would basically be able to connect your workspace and start debugging. So this is not just working that way. So there would be any just connecting to an existing process with this workspace. So you could run the distro and debug it from here. So what else might be interesting? And as we all like releases or changes that don't introduce errors or bugs, I think running tests would be the next step for becoming a contributor. And Keycloak has its own style, or even documented how testing should be done in a very well way, I think. So there's not much unit testing, but there are a lot of integration tests. And we want to, really have the IDE there as working as expected. And either you have the test starting a Keycloak in embedded, or as part of the test when the test is started. Also, it's also taken care of that the Keycloak instance is running and the configuration fits and so on. Or you would like to run these integration tests with a already running instance that you might have altered by some changes or stuff like this. And if you want to debug things like the code that you changed, or even the test, you just want to use the IDE again. Keycloak has this, and I think it's fine to say that these are it's the old way, like using Achillion and the test suite that is there. There are still a lot of tests in that area, and I think there's an ongoing migration, but I didn't look into it for a long time. Last year, I think you had this topic also in this meetup, so we want to probably go for the new test framework, and to use that one, we should create a local file called .env.test, which is described in the documentation for this new test. And in there's configuration how when working with the tests, for example, this Keycloak instance should be made available. And one way would be to configure embedded in there. And if we go to a test, we can just run it and don't even bother where this running Keycloak would be. And so I don't know which one want to take. So maybe create that admin user, and we can just run it from here, and everything would be set up. And I need to make sure that there's no other Keycloak running. And so the test is executed, and it should just work. So there is no additional step required to have Keycloak running, as you already see from the output. And also debugging is working just fine. So can just run also in debug mode. So unfortunately the test fails. Maybe. So this is something. I assume it's a problem of my system. It was an issue in the demo, but in the preparation. So let's try the other demo. Like I want to start Keycloak again in debug mode in the background and run the test from the IDE with these changed test setting. So I need that file. The test. Which is not visible yet. So the debugging still works. And I need, so we can just do it in the terminal. No, we can't. So please make it visible. Maybe we can.
What are you missing at the moment? Can I help you out?
Yes, if you like. So that one should be here. Yeah, please, if you have an idea.
Sorry, can you state the problem, or what is? I kind of lost you at some point.
There it is. So the IDE didn't see the file, and
okay,
maybe my system is really too busy. So I can just add this or change the setting to remote, and then the test would find the existing Keycloak instance. Not sure why this is an issue, but yeah, Keycloak should still be there, so we can.
Maybe the UI is not initializing properly, but
Yeah, but it already has. So
yeah. Interesting.
I assume it's again.
Demo gods are not with you today.
Yeah, again. Yeah. So yeah, maybe
But
we'll
let's move
try.
on. Yeah, let's move on.
Just move on. So this should work. In basic words, and I want to also show that it's possible to run UI tests. So we have currently Keycloak running, and it has the required setup. So it should be possible to run the unit tests, and it should probably not hit the breakpoint because it's because the breakpoint is in an area where it would not pass right now. So it's this bootstrap thing. But there is a famous place where you where the breakpoint would work. So if we would stop here in the password verification step, then the breakpoint should be hit when running these UI tests. And I think this is pretty useful to actually change code and maybe have the test guide you and around you, and not break anything, stuff like this. So at least this one worked. And what also works is you can use this and I think there's a lot of things have happened in the last year in this UI testing area. So there are a lot of tests that you can use, and there's also the possibility to use this Play Framework UI tooling to actually run these tests from the UI of Play of the Play Framework Playwright, so we can do some work and really have the feedback from the UI tests all the time, and you also see what kind of tests are there. So this is from the admin UI, and if you start this Playwright integration, I think this is also really helpful to either see what tests exist, and if you change something, you can basically get feedback immediately if anything is changed. Yes, and I think that should be it. So that works for the admin UI and for the account UI. And yeah, that's what I wanted to share today. And we would now go into the next step on the slides. So we could start discussing what a good PR would look like, or what the contribution or a contribution guide already mentions. And I probably give back to you, Alex.
Yeah, thanks a lot for this great walkthrough. I take your screen offline so we can basically better talk to each other. I can bring it up anytime later. Just let me know when you want to show something on it. So there were some questions, and we can guide it by those questions for now. So one question was, is there a component diagram of Keycloak? Yeah, and it's a very good question. It's a very good question.
Really.
Right? Unfortunately, there's none, right?
Yeah, I saw. I did some experiments with some auto visualization that uses the Maven infos, but it's really getting huge, and there's too many projects, too many details from that. But
yeah. So how do you orient in your day-to-day work with the Keycloak code base, or how did you start, when you remember that? But that was years ago. But how did you get your first step into Keycloak? How do you do that?
Oh, that was yeah, a long time ago, and then there were really long long streaks where of time where I don't was able to contribute things. So the last thing was, or I'm still interested in the area of sending notifications to identities. There's an open discussion. Yeah, and I think it's really starting with searching for class names, and you have this Quarkus area, you have the Keycloak core, and I think that the modules or components from GitHub help somehow, so you can connect to that if you have an issue, and it's already pointing you to some entry point.
Sometimes I find myself like I have a UI, I see maybe what REST endpoint is being called, and in the end it's a Java EE application with DragsRS underneath it, so every URL will map eventually to a class. And as you've shown just now, you can do debugging, you can run Keycloak, put a breakpoint there, and then dive into, well, what's happening there. I think most of the DragsRS endpoints are in the services module. I'm not sure if you can open your IDE, and maybe we can do a little walkthrough of maybe the 2 or 3 most important modules.
Yes, so you should see my screen still.
Yeah.
You're talking about this the services.
Right. Services has, I think, most of the REST points in it, and when you then pick one of the REST endpoints just out of curiosity, yeah, maybe authentication. Well, if you search for paths, like the add path in this module, then you would okay, apparently not. Let me have a look at, well, usually there's, you look for DragsRS endpoints that are annotated with add path, and then you would see where all these calls have been made. Yeah, there it is, like all the different paths in the admin UI, for example, they show up there, and that helps you to get your starting point at some point.
Oh yeah, good hint. So I remember to use that too, and it was really helpful to have this admin API documentation. Or
yeah, yeah. So some people were asking about more documentation. So well, there are lots of readmes, I would say, cluttered in the repository, which is a bit unfortunate. I think you, Sebastian, wrote a great piece of documentation as a walkthrough, end to end. And you will share it afterwards, right?
Yeah, I will share it, and that's something I wanted to also show in the beginning. So thanks for the reminder. So there's, as mentioned, there's a lot of documentation, and it's really helpful, and it's really, I think it's not trivial to really put it in a way that everyone's satisfied and finds everything in the first place. So it's really something, and there are other open source projects that are having dedicated areas for contributors, like you're having that angle, but I think for Keycloak it's still hard because of mixed technologies like front end, back end, a lot of different. So the Quarkus universe, the things from the past. So not sure. It's not meant to be some critique. I think it's really something not easy.
So anybody brave enough to pick up the task documenting it, or maybe even reorganizing it or moving things over from your getting started to the main repository is welcome. I would be happy to support those people in reviewing their pull requests.
Yeah, me too.
And I think the usual thing with pull requests is start small and then build it up from there. And from a Keycloak point of view, it's always great to see people coming back with more contributions. Like the first 1 to maybe 3 contributions are an investment of the maintainers into your time. And once you then come back and actually build on your previous knowledge, then you can really strive and do the changes and add value to the project.
Yeah, I think it's really something worth talking about. Like we don't want to put extra work on the table of maintainers, and I don't know, waste their time and stuff like this. So if you look at the media right now, there seems to be this pattern that people use their newest tooling to basically create code and throw it at open source projects. I don't know, any word on generative AI or agentic AI?
Yeah, so it's the problem with the Keycloak project is that it's a complex. It has lots of functionality, has lots of technology into it, and you might write a prompt and it will do exactly as you tell the tool in the best of worlds, but then your prompt might be lacking giving the tool the right context because it's just overwhelmed by the Keycloak and what it's doing. So again, here it's not about the AI need to build up the context so much, but well, maybe that as well, but also about you as a contributor. So if you're a Keycloak user already, you know about the concepts, you know about the basics, then this gives you already a lot of context. If you're never used Keycloak before, if you're, I'd say, just curious about OpenID Connect, SAML, and Federation, then I would rather recommend they build a demo, experiment with it, have a look maybe at the user forum, help others learning Keycloak, and once you have an understanding of Keycloak, then move on to maybe contributing to it. There's also a list of great extensions to Keycloak, which might be smaller. Some of them might be well maintained, some others not. Some might have tests, others might have not tests. So before you pick one, you really have to choose what kind of things you would expect from a code base of an extension. And then this might be a more constrained problem space, I would say. And in that area, this would also be an area where you could make your first contribution, if that's an active plugin, if it is actively maintained, if it has some tests. If any of these conditions is not true, then it's probably not a good not a good one to contribute to. I can take off your screen, or should I want to keep it on?
As you like. I just switch. I think you mentioned the contribution guide steps, so
yeah,
switch to.
Yeah, you can switch to them. I can go through some more questions. So, and whoever feels like just repeat it again and again. Anybody who wants to write it down and want to help us restructure the contributing guides, let us know. How can the community help participate in triaging issues and prioritizing the issues? That's a good point. So we actually have a triaging process, and you could find that in the main repository, there's a bug triaging process. I think in order to be able to prioritize things or triage other pull requests or other issues, let's start with issues first, you need to have a knowledge of Keycloak. If you want to join the triaging team, please send me a direct note, and we can have a chat. And yeah, from there, if you then are a Keycloak user and want to have something upvoted, then there are upvotes for that. So you go to the Keycloak GitHub issues, there's a thumbs up symbol you can add to the main description of the issue. And we now and then sort all the issues, how many issues had how many thumbs up. And with that, we would then build our roadmap around it. So that's then probably answering this question from Keshav. The next question was then how to streamline the process of getting early feedback on the PR. There's a SIG meeting of the Keycloak OAuth group. So there's a like Keycloak is a lot, but a big part of it is OpenID Connect, and there's a special working group of OpenID Connect that meets, I think, every other week now. And there you can they have their own Slack channel on the CNCF Slack. They have also very knowledgeable community members who can review your pull request. So that should usually help, I would say. We would, when you create a pull request, what we are trying to do later this year is we want to have a timely feedback on pull requests. So if you open a pull request, well, when it's in draft mode, probably no one will look at it yet. But when you open it in draft mode, you will see that all the GitHub actions are running on it. Keycloak has so many tests that you actually don't want to run them locally. You want to have GitHub running them for you. But once you switch your pull request to ready for review, or maybe ping if you're referencing an issue, which we recommend to do in the contributing guide, maybe there's a maintainer in that main issue who triaged it, who commented on it, maybe even added this help wanted tag to the main issue. Then you could also ping that person directly and wait for some feedback. What else?
I don't know what would be expected for time value. So in my experience, it was really very the feedback was not, or I was not waiting too long. So, so what would be the time frame for an issue to be for a PR to be commented by a maintainer?
Yeah, we don't have a SLA for that yet. We have an SLA for bugs. I think within 2 weeks you should get definitely a feedback, usually a lot faster. With pull requests, we're probably trying to do something similar. I would maybe turn the question also around, what would be your expectation? Well, to you, Sebastian, maybe, but also to the audience. What kind of feedback would you be looking for? Would you rather have a bot giving you feedback, or would you rather wait for a human? Or
yeah, that's interesting. So and I think the whole process, like, okay, I file an issue, and I think it's really already awesome when it comes to security issues, right? So it's even even faster for these ones. I'm not having any issues with the time, but I think I'm used to it, that it takes some time. So you have a Keycloak release, and it's great to have these very frequent, and you can basically say, okay, will it be in there or will it be in the next one, depending on how small the PR is, maybe. So I think I'm fine, but what would be the expectation from the audience? I think that's an interesting question.
So we were waiting for the audience to come up with some more questions. In the meantime, I'm sharing my screen for a second. So this is the bugs dashboard that we have, and as maintainers and our core team, we're actually using that. I'm putting the link now in the chat as well. So it's keycloak.org/dashboard. And we, for example, have a triage bug per area, but also a team that is looking into, well, triage overdue, how many items are there, how many important bugs are there. Looking at the config, I think we have, bugs. When there's one bug in triage overdue, it will be a warning. Triage overdue will start after 14 days. Anything that is considered a blocker in the bug will then turn red after 7 days. So that's what we would do around issues. We might do something similar with pull requests at some point later this year, and also try to do some automation around it. Let's see how that works out. If you have some ideas, let me know. Hasso Kassenstort is asking which areas are good entry points for new Keycloak contributors. Would you recommend working on bugs or open issues? So we have issues marked help wanted. And let's see, there we go. So we have issues here, and I can look for help wanted. And the good thing about help wanted is that is something, well, we say we probably don't have the time to do now, but a maintainer has already looked into that. So maintainer has commented on it, validated that it's probably a bug or a feature that we want to have a contribution at some point. And so this person was opening the issue here. And you see that Marek Pasolda was adding the priority low, and with that also the help wanted flag. So this person here is commenting currently on a lot of issues. I'm not sure if it's a bot or not. We had like mixed experience with adding issues to people, but rather open a pull request when you think you have a good answer to that problem. When we assign it to a person, that person might never come back with a pull request. So yeah, we rather go ahead and create a pull request that is matching that. A good pull request contains documentation, updated tests, yeah, and probably some release notes if it's a breaking change to some people. That's the things that usually come with it. I see that we have just 3 more minutes, so time is running fast. So yeah, all the things that I wanted to say, but I did not. Keycloak DevDay is happening early March, but if you want to meet more Keycloak people, Keycloak Con or KubeCon would be a great place to be on 23rd of March in Amsterdam, or 22nd of March in Amsterdam, and all the other days of the week being KubeCon. So I'm sharing that in the chat as well. So that's the KubeCon, and we have a blog post on that. We have a lot of talks coming up at that event. Maybe I share my screen again. So meet the Keycloak team there. We have a half-day KeycloakCon. We have a community meet and greet at the project pavilion. We have several talks from Keycloak maintainers and from the community, which is great. Maybe in October, there's going to be another Keycloak community event in, well, probably in the Czech Republic. I will not reveal the date yet. I will not reveal the place yet until we really secure the venue and have the date fixed. But once there is, maybe spare some time in October to join us there. Right. Anything else? Yeah, I think that's the things that I want to share. Any final words from you, Sebastian?
No, thank you for having me again, and great to have these things shared again. Let's make contribution fun.
Yeah, let's make contribution fun. If you have feedback also, well, come back to Sebastian, come back to me, and help us to improve the contribution docs. And yeah, and also let us know what is a good contribution experience, and we can automate the processes around that. Thank you very much. Thanks for joining. Hope you join us again when we have another topics coming up here. And have a great day of the week. See you then. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye.